Hi, this is Brad Johnson, the MMA Florida Fighter. We're back in Coconut Creek at American Top Team to interview two legends. We've got international kickboxing and karate Hall of Famer Jeff Gibson, and we've got Olympic gold medalist Howard Davis Jr., a legend in boxing. And we're here to talk about a project that these two gentlemen are putting together. Jeff, nice to meet you. Howard, thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing here?
Well, I think the impetus on this show was that I've watched Jeff promote shows here in South Florida for 10 years. Matter of fact, he got my son started as a professional fighter here in Florida, and watched some of his shows, and I always thought he was a great promoter. And at some point in time, I thought, man, if I decide to do something, I'd sure like to do it with Jeff, just to get a start, you know? So Jeff and I are putting together something I think is going to be wonderful for our fans, for the MMA fans. I think this is going to be a wonderful event that we're going to put together. It's going to be at Club Cinema in Pompano Beach. And I think that me collaborating with Jeff, I think it's going to be a great show.
Oh, I do too. The chemistry, I think, is going to be fantastic. So what is your contribution here? I know you've been doing this a while.
You know, ironically, Howard coming from the boxing background and myself from the kickboxing martial arts background, we both meet with this mixed martial arts. I mean, the truth is, this is where the fight game has been going. You know, everybody's seen it. The UFC has just made this thing the largest sporting event in the world at this time. Howard and I, you know, we go back a lot of years, and I've seen Howard with nothing but respect for Howard for what he's done in the Olympics as an amateur boxer.
He's been a class act his whole career.
The guy's a legend, definitely a Hall of Famer, you know, in line. And then I've watched him this past year, or past couple of years, evolve from not just his boxing sense to everything that he's been doing in the mixed martial arts. And naturally, for years, he's been with the American Top Team as their striking coach. But you start seeing him on the UFC fights recently with Chuck Liddell on there as his coach. Just saw him coming off the Ultimate Fighter, where he's on there with one of the teams, the striking coach. And circumstances brought us together, and we thought, you know what, the time is now. Let's bring our two promotion companies together, and let's start putting on mixed martial arts fights. Let's develop some fighters here to hopefully have some world champions come out of our stable one day.
Well, that's great. If you're a young coach or a young fighter somewhere and you've got a kid you think's got something going, how would they get in touch with you, or how would they go about getting their fighter in a position to, say, be on a promotion by you fellas?
Well, I guess you could better explain that. You've been a promoter longer than I have.
Well, and you know, it's to answer that, I'll answer it in a roundabout way. First of all, you can always reach Howard Davis Jr. at the American Top Team headquarters in Coconut Creek, where he's here training, doing private lessons, as well as training the pros, you know, for their upcoming fights. They'll see me out and about working the streets, doing the promotions for Elite Promotions. You find me, and I can, you know, give them the contact also, or they can go on either one of our websites, or Elite Promotions, or the Fight Time.
So you're the front man and he's the muscle.
Yeah, you know, that's what I was getting at. You know, it's neat because Howard sees the fighter, works with the fighters, okay? For the 10 years you see me doing the promotions, I look at taking the events, you know, I'm not trying to say I don't look at the fighters and know the fighters too, but mine is putting the entire show together, and Howard's is looking at this fighter, making sure this fighter's ready. So now we've come together to where, you know, our emphasis is still going to be on which fighters, which I like to look, people will ask me, Jeff, who's your main event? I say, my main event's the guy that puts the most butts in the seats.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my main event.
Exactly.
You might ask Howard who his main event is. His main
it's
event,
the same
who's,
thing.
you know,
It's
good. I'm glad we come together
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
But you know, sometimes main events for people are the guy with just the best record, you know, again. So, but you know, to me, we want the one because, again, if you look at where we're starting now and then where you're going to be later on with some of these fighters with pay-per-views, how are you going to get a pay-per-view? People are going to buy that pay-per-views because they want to see that fighter.
Right.
So it all starts on the low level by developing a following.
But not only that, too, you want to make sure that the fan enjoys the show, you know. And I think, for me at least, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for Jeff also, that we want to put on a class show We want to make sure the show is, make sure the fans are happy when they leave, and they want to come back again,
Right.
and maybe bring more people with them.
Good matchmaking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's where we'll pride ourselves. I mean, at the end of the show, you'll see Howard and myself there to shake hands with people. Thank you for coming out and enjoying our shows. And what we want to hear is that, wow, these were great fights. Whichever way it goes, may the better man win. We just want well-matched fights, and then may the best guy with the best training and in the best shape, prevail.
Well, if somebody wants to find out when you guys are having an event or how they're going to go about getting tickets, how would they reach out to you guys? Like, if they want to go to one of your events, where would they get tickets? How would they go about doing that?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Actually, we're set up. We're working with StubHub, StubHub.com. So no matter where you're at in the world, you can log on to StubHub. You can purchase tickets off the seating chart there. We have ticket outlets that are set, around. For instance, the American Top Team here in Coconut Creek, the Fist Factory in Port St. Lucie. We have the Fight Club down in Miami. We've got them set all over Florida. So you can either go online, purchase your tickets. You can give us a call, purchase your tickets. You can walk into one of the ticket outlets, purchase your tickets. We want to make sure tickets are easy for them to get.
Absolutely.
And our website, Elite Promotions, www.elitepromotions.info, and that will direct you to the tickets.
We're going to also go to FightTime.com also.
FightTime.com.
Which is my promotional company.
Yeah, exactly.
And get tickets.
And that's again, that's where this excitement's come from, and we're taking. Granted, I've been doing promotions for 10 years, but in a way, now that we're together, we're starting fresh. So we're starting with our first series, and we hope in 10 years from now, we're sitting here doing an interview on how our last 10 years have gone and where our fighters, are going to be, and we're going to make exciting fights. We're going to have fighters from all over, and we're gonna shake and move. You'll see.
Who does the matchmaking? Is that something you do, or is that something Mr. Davis does?
Neither one of us do it. We have a matchmaker that
we'll look over. Robbie Clavier is our matchmaker, and Jessica Aguilar has been a matchmaker, has worked with me, for years. And I can't say enough about these guys because they work, and we just have such well-matched fights. But
that's key.
It is.
It's everything.
And mixed martial arts. I love boxing, so I don't want to act like I'm knocking one, but in mixed martial arts, these guys are ready to step up and fight whoever, and I like that. It's not. That's why you see people fighting for world titles that may have 4 or 5 losses, 7, 8, 10 wins, at times. It's like losses come.
Well, and it's more dimensional. It's not like in the old days if you were just a kickboxer, all we had to worry about is a set of specific rules. When you box, you had it. Now there's takedowns, knees, elbows. There's all this periphery.
There's many ways to win, and there's also many ways to lose in mixed martial arts.
Well, I'm impressed about the way you work with these guys. If you've been able to do something a lot of boxing coaches haven't been able to do, and that's transition the traditional boxing to fit, to fight and defend against leg dives.
Believe it or not, I've been with American Top Team for 7 years, and I'm still learning. It's a difficult transition for me because, I came from boxing.
Right.
So when I first came in, I saw them go to the ground. I didn't like it. Man, stand up, I want to see that.
We didn't like it either when we were kickboxing. I didn't want to go to the ground.
Yeah. But, now I understand the ground game a little bit more, and I appreciate the ground game, and I'm a little more knowledgeable what's taking place on the ground, what fighters trying to do to accomplish their goals.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
it
is
more
very
interesting.
exciting. Yeah,
I think it.
But I'm really excited about Jeff and I really putting this show together. I mean, this is something new for me, and I'm so excited. I've been knowing Jeff a long time.
You guys have great chemistry, and your timing couldn't be better. And your creds are. I mean, it's not like just a couple guys you never heard of. I mean, we got Olympic champion, Hall of Famer. I mean, it's legit.
We're not playing. I mean, this is serious to us. This is our business, and this is the path that we choose to make a living in the fight world. And so now we're just taking it to the level, so we promote, do our events together. August 21st at Club Cinema, 3251 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. People are going to be able to come out and see what we're talking about. The venue there has worked with us to help mold the venue, so we have the venue that we need to do these events. So we're going to have class lighting from an ESPN package lighting that we have there, the sound system, easy parking, and we've been fortunate to have a lot of people come around us, sponsors included.
Yeah.
So we're able to put this thing together to give to the public the fights.
And it's not a bad seat in the house at Club Cinema.
And that's
Every
important
seat,
too.
yeah, it's a great facility. The lighting is perfect. As a matter of fact, there's been a couple of shows in ESPN they've done there, and it's just an unbelievable place for us to start our inaugural event.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
What about the amateur thing? Are you guys going to ever delve into doing amateur mixed martial arts? Is that going to be a part of something you're going to deal with, or you're going to leave that?
Well, that's something we haven't talked about. I'm
Because
pretty
it's
sure.
new. They're just getting ready. We had talked earlier. They're
Right.
just opening it up to that.
Really, I haven't heard anything from the commission yet.
Well,
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
supposedly, allegedly,
Yeah.
it's government. We'll see what happens, but I think that could be exciting. You have a couple of preliminaries, amateurs, give them a shot, because this is a tough sport to just jump in as a pro.
Yeah.
Yep, it really is. Now, on a separate note than ours, we were talking earlier. I told you there's a gentleman that does the amateur kickboxing, Muay Thai. Told him I'll come in and work with him. Let's do some of that. And he's the one that told me that they just approved the amateur MMA. And I said, well, then, hey, it's great because some of these fighters need a place to come and get the experience and decide, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this before they come to the pro level.
Well, they need to. You don't just jump in the ring with Brock Lesnar. I mean, you don't just do that. You got to have some skills. And you could take, like we talked about, Kimbo Slice, and that's a bad man, but there's a learning curve.
Yeah,
Sure. And I think he'll get it, but there's a learning curve.
Sure.
And you have to have all of it. Like you were saying, you can't just have good stand-up. You can't have just good ground game. You got to have it both.
And the utmost respect goes out to Kimbo for a man that humbled himself from already being put at the top of the entertainment industry by
They
this
put a lot
game.
of pressure on that man's back.
But
But he
for him
accepted
to
it.
say, hey,
Yeah, he
I'm
did.
going to come down and I'm going to train and learn to do it the proper way. I mean, my hat goes off, to Kimbo for that. And that's what the amateurs are going to give a lot of these other guys a chance. Hey, come here and let's learn it properly, like you said. Let's start on the learning curve, and then they move up, into the pro level. And then, fortunately, a few will get to move up into the big money game, as well.
Well, I think it's exciting, guys, and I can't wait to go to your first event, and I can't wait to interview some of your fighters. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. Howard, it's an
you.
honor, my friend. Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
My pleasure.
All right, hey, you know where we can get something to eat around here?
Howard's buying lunch is what I heard.
All
I said,
right,
let's
I
go
like
there.
that. I like that.
Oh,
All
Jeff
right,
is a sneaky
guys.
one.
Thanks a lot.